Hello,
Hi,
we're back. Discussions with Chantel.
I'm Cherylene. Today we're having a brief discussion about Gary Chapman's 5 languages of love.
Yes.
And so we're going to introduce the 5 languages to you. The first one is words of affirmation. This is when these are called spoken words,
Right.
okay? And then the next one is quality time. Okay?
Yes.
And quality time is doing things together, running errands, stuff like that.
And the third is receiving gifts,
Mm-hmm.
which is giving gifts or remembering special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth is acts of service, which is assisting with chores
Mm-hmm.
or anything to help that person, whatever may lighten the load.
Yeah, and the final one is physical touch. So we kind of talked about that. It's hugs and kisses and holding hands, embracing. We want to talk a little bit about some of Gary Chapman's thoughts about the 5 languages. I want to share something with you guys today that Chantel and I were talking about. Chapman suggests that to discover another person's love language, one must observe the way the other person expresses love.
Right.
And to analyze what they complain about and most often what they request from their significant other.
Right.
He theorizes, now check this out, that people tend to naturally give love in the way they prefer to receive love,
Right.
and better communication between couples can be accomplished when one can demonstrate caring to the other person in the language that the recipient understands. So in essence, what he's saying is that we normally think about ourselves. We're kind of selfish
Right.
with
All the
it.
time.
All the time, not sometimes, but all the time, with how we express our love languages. And so one of the things that we want to do today was, one, to introduce Gary Chapman's 5 languages of love, and we're going to post a link
Yes.
so that you can go out there and check it out and see what your love language is. And also maybe your mate, your kids, because I think it has it for teens,
Yes.
it has it for spouses, it has it for single people, have it for married people. So you can go out and find what your mate is, your kids are, your different people at work, maybe your friends, your relationships. Find out what they are in terms of the 5 languages of love. And you had something else you wanted to talk about.
I did. I wanted to talk about the 10 ways to love. Number 1 is to listen without interrupting.
That's hard for me. Yeah.
Yes. Me too.
It's hard.
Speak without accusing. To give without sparing. To pray without ceasing. To answer without arguing. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
To share without pretending. Enjoy without complaint, because that's a big one. Trust without wavering. Prove without punishing. And to promise without forgetting.
Wow.
And I think if we follow those guidelines of the love languages and the 10 ways to love, I think everything should flow. Now, I'm not saying that everything is going to be perfect, but it'll help things be a lot smoother.
Yeah. And I think, you're right about that. Sometimes when we're in relationships, whether they are a mate relationship or just a friendship, we lack the thought of how to have ways to love. And sometimes we don't even look at it as love. We look
Right.
at it as one as intimacy or just friendship.
Right.
But they are both encompass that amore, love, And so what we want you to do is check that out. We're going to come back again.
Yes.
And we're going to talk more about the languages of love. What is yours? And so when we come back, we're going to put some questions out, and that's what we'll probably do, put some questions out, and get your feedback on what your love language is, and maybe what your questions are about love. You took yours and I took mine, right?
Yes.
What was yours?
It was very interesting. I thought my love language was physical touch. It turns out the top one is quality time. My second one is acts of service, and the third is physical touch.
Wow. So what did you think about that once you realized that it was something different? So how do you use that now that you know what it is?
Well, I thought about it, and I do like quality time. Like we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to go to a restaurant. I could just sit with you and talk to you, or watch TV with you, and that'll make me happy. So, I learned that I didn't know myself, or when I was younger, it was different, but it's very interesting. And so I want to tell them that we are gonna. Don't forget, we're gonna include the link so you can take your test to see what your love languages are. Do that and get back with us.
Right, right. Well, mine was, which I was a little surprised too. I thought mine was words of affirmation. And my first one was physical touch. I was really surprised because I'm not the touchy-feely type, I didn't think. But I thought about my daughter when she was little, or my godchildren when they were little. I just loved to kiss on them, and I loved to hug on them, you know. And that was important to me. And, you know, just making sure they were safe. So I always had my hands, you know, on them to keep them safe. So I guess maybe it might be, but I didn't think that that was that important. But my second one, which is very close in numbers, I think one was 10 and the other was 9. My second number was words of affirmation, and that's the one I knew I had because, you know, I'm very big on expressing myself to share with others how I feel. How I feel that they've done something well, or even how I feel when they haven't done something so well. I just believe communication is good, and I like for people to communicate back with me. And now that I think about it, my love, I just touched her. Yeah. That's physical touch, right? Anyway, our film person is laughing at me, okay? But anywho, I just touched. I guess I am touchy-feely, right? Well, what do I know? What do I know, right? But I do realize that I do like people to give me words and to tell me, you know, how they're feeling. I want to know. So, with that being said, it helps in my communication when they communicate that back to me because it makes me feel affirmed. And I think that's the biggest key here is to feel affirmed, to feel recognized, to feel noticed, to feel appreciated in a relationship, whether it is mate relationship or friendship relationship. So we want to explore that more because we know that's a huge topic with people in relationships and becoming happy. Because that's probably one of the big things in being happy, that they're not in couples with anybody or they don't have the types of relationships they want. So we'll be back next time, right?
We'll be back next time.
And so remember, discussions with
Chantel
and Cherylene. Subscribe.